something just came in the mail today, and here it is. Um, I've been looking for some rudder pedals for my flight sim hobby, specifically around sim helicopters, and I ran across these on eBay uh, for a really, really good price. I had been looking at some VKB and some Virpil options, and with my budget, I wasn't willing to pay $300-400 for a set of pedals. What I've been using is some software uh, that allows me to use my sim racing pedals as rudders, and it's actually worked really well, and I'd gotten used to it. But with some of the new helicopter models that just came out in Flight Sim 2020, I thought I'd want something that's a little bit more real, closer to the real experience of actual rudder pedals. So I found these. Came in the mail the other day, and I installed. So I'm going to just kind of go over what this is. These are listed on eBay as Flight One pedals. I had never heard of the company, but the design of these things look pretty intriguing. They're all metal construction, aluminum with some steel components, and it also comes with a damper, which is pretty much of it's a real bonus. This damper, of course, dampens out some of the springiness, so when this thing comes back to center, it doesn't come back to center hard because this damper helps kind of soften that return. And hey, that really worked out well. So let's just get a little closer and take a look at some of the features on this thing. Well, all real nice anodized aluminum, the components. Um, these rods on either side, they move against this pendulum, which turns the center shaft, and its resistance with these springs, centering springs, and the shaft turns a hall sensor that's built into the bottom of this thing. So this looks like the only piece of plastic uh, basically on this unit is this housing for the sensors. It's got USB connectors on both sides. I thought that was pretty cool. So no matter how how you need to install it, they've smartly included the USB connectors on both sides. Um, there's this small, sort of like aluminum extrusion, but it's pretty much, I think, the size of maybe like Maker Beam, and that's what. And you can see there's a little insert in the standoffs that allow this thing to kind of set firmly on the floor. So let's go underneath again, and here you can see it's got these pretty stout um, bearings for the sleeves on either side, the shafts that allow this these arms to rotate in these shafts. Speaking of adjustments, it's got multiple adjustments here so that you can put this bar at different locations. Bonus is um, it's got other connectors here on both sides. What these do, these guys right here, they let you set the arms so that this bar is either further away or closer to the ground, to the floor. On this side, because I'm experimenting, I've got the bar, the pendulum, I think that would be the fulcrum, I think, connected to the last of these positioning holes. And on this side, I've got the fulcrum connected to the center hole. And you see what it does. It puts this side considerably higher above the floor than this side. And there you can see. So you still get the full swing, except with this fulcrum being in the last positioning hole. When this thing is full forward, as you can see, the pedals are all the way onto the floor. Whereas this side, full forward, the pedals are still maybe about 2 inches from the floor. So depending on your setup and what you prefer, you've got a lot of you've got I'm sorry, you've got a lot of adjustments on how this thing works. Um, let's talk about this the damper. So first of all of these pivot parts ride on these ball joints, right? Everything has a real nice steel ball joint, including this the damper. But another bonus is that the damper is also has a ball joint right here, so that as this thing is being used, this whole piece floats. The damper floats, so it doesn't bind at all. It's going to float and move as to where it needs to be, based on how you've got these pendulums and these fulcrums and everything set up. That's pretty good. Um, Getting back, everything's nicely machined aluminum, and in the case of the arms and the base, very nicely anodized aluminum. Um, when it comes in the mail, this beam is not connected, or not installed, rather, and these foot pegs are not installed. The damper is not installed. It's in its own case that's inside of the box with all of this. And this part of these arms are not installed. So this thing is all really nicely compacted inside a box, um, nicely shipped. The weight of this thing is let's see what this thing weighs. I don't know if I can get it mounted on this scale so you can see what the weight is. I don't know if I can. Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Stabilized. Okay, 5 pounds, 1.6 ounces. So very lightweight, extremely lightweight, in fact. Let's take a look at some measurements here so we can see what we're talking about here with measurements. So the the beam in front is at 16, roughly 16 inches, just shy. Actually, to be exact, is 15 and 3/4 inches. This beam. The width of the pegs, that comes out to be about, let's say, 18 and a half inches for the most part. As I see it, I don't know if it's picking up. Yeah, about 18 and a half inches, the pegs. From stem to stern, that comes out to about 11 and 11 and 3/4 inches, roughly, from the top of the beam to the back of the shaft. back of the housing rather, 11 3/4 inches. Um, so really nicely designed, nicely compacted. It's got rubber floating um, pads here, so self-leveling pads, and everything is really nicely mounted with these real nice screws, bolts, cap head screws for the most part. Everything is like hex um, hex type mounting pegs. Uh, comes with the Allen wrench and a crescent wrench to install everything. And there's 8 millimeter and 10 millimeter. So between this crescent, yeah, this uh, open end um, wrench lets you install everything that you need to install. This spring comes pre-installed. As you can see that when you move this pendulum, puts pressure on these arms, which force the spring open, and that's what forces the mechanism to close again. It would have been nice if this would have came with maybe a couple of different weight of springs. I know some guys who are real hardcore helicopter guys are probably going to want to take these springs off. So this thing acts as I'm told a helicopter uh, pedals do, and that they stay where you put them. I don't know. I'm not a helicopter pilot, sorry. I don't know. But I'm using the damper to help. You can see when I let that go, it just eases back into place. There's I don't know if you can see it from here, but this damper has a yeah, here you go. This damper has a dial with plus and minus so that you can turn on and off the amount of dampening you want. So just to show how this thing goes, I'm going to take out a lot of the dampening because I've been playing around with this thing, and I added a lot more dampening so that this, you see how sorry, my bad. You see how it pops into place pretty stoutly, pretty stiffly because I've taken out the the damping. So I'm going to add that amount of damping, and there's clicks in between in between the different positions. I thought that was pretty cool. That's real nice. So here we go. Look at that. Now I've just added full damping, and you see what's happening? It's just really just easing back ever so slightly. So that's a little bit too much. Let's take some let's take some dampening out of this so I can get it back the way I had it before. Yeah. All right. Maybe a little. One more click. Yeah. Two more. Yeah. There we go. That's the way I had it at first. So, pretty decent amount of adjustments between what you do with the damper, the the position of these pegs, and the position of the fulcrum that determines how close to the floor these uh, these pegs are. So um, that's that's it for the most part. You can see it's like I said before, really nicely made. I think we'll be giving this thing a workout. I need to add it to my mount it onto my desk base rig. See how well it works out. But so far so good, I think. So eBay, it's listed as a Flight One rudder pedals. I'm pretty happy with these things so far. It seems like there's several sellers on eBay that are selling these things. So if you look around, you'll see different pricing. And I got these for a steal, to be perfectly honest. Um, Relative, of course, to the prices that we're looking at with some of the other high-end offerings out there, and looking at this, the heavy construction of this thing, I'm pretty confident that this is going to hold up pretty well over time. The sensor, 16-bit Hall sensor, for those who would like to know that. That's what's in here. That's what they're describing on the eBay listings for these. Um, is this on Amazon? I don't know. Could be. I found it on eBay, so I dealt specifically with the eBay sellers. So so that's it. Hopefully, I've given enough information here. Again, take a look. See, the positioning of that fulcrum determines the height of the old pegs. See, I've got the one on your right. That is in the middle peg on the fulcrum, and the one on the left, I have that one at the rearmost peg on the fulcrum, and that's a substantial and great amount of adjustability that you can make with this thing, and still on this left side, I'm still getting full swing of the pedals up and down. Um, I guess I should mention that because these don't have that sliding, opposing foot pedals like some of the airplane uh, uh, rudders, rudder pedals do. These operate up and down much more like helicopters um, rudders. So, be mindful of that, and if that works for you, then it does. If it doesn't, of course, then you have to act accordingly. But just take another look. Really nice construction. Uh, I think the hardware that they use to put this thing together with is top notch. I haven't seen any, obviously, cheapo bolts or anything. Of course, we're not talking grade A, aircraft level hardware. But for what this thing is going to be put through, I think that this hardware is going to fit the bill nicely. So that's it for the video. Hopefully, this is giving those who are looking for a different set of rudder pedals, pause to kind of take a look at these. And there you go. Thanks for watching.